radio station. But don't forget, you can watch us. So we are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. Now, if you've listened to Good Things long enough, you know I love any sport with a barbell. And our guests today are inspiring new generations of powerlifters, which I think is so cool. Joining us is William and Carri Myers. They're with the Load the Bar Foundation, and they're here talking about their third annual Raising the Bar meet, and it's all for a good cause. So welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
I can't believe we're on the third meet. It feels like it was just started, just yesterday, or it hasn't been around that long, but you guys are making big strides in keeping the meet going. But let's talk about the Load the Bar Foundation. I know some listening will have heard the story before, but this may be their first introduction. So either William or Carri, you want to give a little bit of the backstory of how this got started, Carri?
So in January of 21, we lost our youngest daughter in a car accident, and she was a power lifter, and she loved the sport, and she loved lifting and seeing how much more she could lift. And so we thought, what a way to honor her than to give back to other power lifters. And so we started Load the Bar Foundation to give scholarships for for senior high school females for college.
How many scholarships have you given out since? Caught you off guard.
Yes, you did.
Several, it seems like.
Probably 12, I would roughly say. And then we also started a scholarship at East Central Community College, too.
And this is to give the female students the opportunity to go to that next level and get their higher education, but also continue to compete in the sport that they enjoy. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think, I think it's gaining popularity, or it's gaining more traction, but it's still not conversation enough about girls being able to be highly competitive in sports like powerlifting. Now, William, do most schools have powerlifting for girls? I know obviously where Claire went had the opportunity, or is that also growing?
It's growing. This year, I know for a fact that Union High School is starting their female powerlifting program this year. And for those that may not know, Union has the past 2 years, the boys powerlifting team has won the state championship for 2A.
That's awesome.
And to see them go ahead and try to bring the females or the girls into this is a great thing, because not every kid is not every girl is a cheerleader, not every girl plays basketball. It's a wide variety out there. And the thing about powerlifting, most sports today understand the importance of lifting weights, but with powerlifting, it doesn't hinder any sport you do. It'll only help the athlete as far as in their sport. So, and we're hoping to see it grow more and more. Now, when you go to the state powerlifting championship, you'll see a lot of your bigger schools, your 6As, your 5-4, 3A schools, they'll have the female powerlifters, but your smaller schools are the ones that are kind of on the backside of getting into it now. They are starting to grow.
Is that like coaching opportunities or not, or just awareness that this is and having the access to maybe the gyms or things to try the equipment? I think it's more awareness
than it is really the coaches. The coaches are there, and
because the boys coaches could coach the women. I mean, coach
absolutely.
The girls. Yeah.
I mean, it's no different. It's just from what we've experienced with Claire being in high school with powerlifting. It was, they try to set up a certain time for the girls to go and a certain time for the guys to go, which is completely understandable. And, finding the opportunity or the time to get both sides in there is where you find a problem at. So.
Well, and I think that's something as more students or people get interested in it, schools usually rise to the occasion and try to figure that out if they see that they can obviously be competitive in it, or it's something that their students want, which I think every school should have the opportunity to do that. I am very pro getting kids into it rightfully with correct form and good coaching and sort of all that. Carri, when did Claire first get interested into powerlifting? Because it is different for a female to come in and say, and it depends on your household. If you're an active household like my household, it would not be, my daughters have already been exposed to that, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary. But for others, it may be like, you want to do what?
Well, Claire was the baby of 4 daughters, and so we didn't have boys. We raised our daughters to do anything they wanted to do, whether it was considered a boy thing or not, And she came in. It was the first year that Newton County was starting a female powerlifting team, and she's like, I want to go out for powerlifting. And I was like, Powerlifting? Why? The coach is cute.
Well,
let's
you
go.
know.
And so, it just went from there. And once she realized that she could, lift more than she thought she could, and she could, keep gaining weight with her working at it, she just took off from there.
Yeah, and just loved it. And other girls do the same when they've given the opportunity. And it's not just it's obviously not just a girl sport, but that's not the same. It's also the same for boys, William. Maybe when young fellas get into it and start to recognize their potential. I wish I had some of the stats on me, but man, Mississippians, we have one young fella, I can't remember where he's from, that is absolutely rocking it on the powerlifting stage on a national level. So this is an individual sport that they can take with them outside of any collegiate career or any other sport.
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing that I have seen, and I'm not saying every school, and I'm not even putting a school out there by name, but the recognition for the sport of powerlifting in itself, I think, is you don't get a lot of recognition in it simply because the bigger sports that schools tend to trend towards, such as football and basketball and baseball and softball, I've seen where some of the coaches and athletic directors like, well, if you're not playing in one of these sports, we don't want you in our gym. Well, powerlifting is a sport. Just because you're not on the football team or, one of your higher profiled games, doesn't mean that you can't be out there lifting. And I'd like to see that change within our school systems,
and be competitive at it.
And that's it's
That'll take coaches or at least one person or champion to sort of say, we'll open the gym up at other times or recognize that there's an opportunity there, because you're right, there are some students who may be very gifted in the powerlifting sport, but that may not translate to them to being gifted in other sports. That may be sort of their thing. But like you said, William, powerlifting, the movements make every athlete better at their sport.
Absolutely.
But it can be a sport in and of itself. We mention it as if people should just know what that is. I feel like a lot of people listening to Good Things probably know what powerlifting is or have an idea. But how do you describe the sport of it, William?
Powerlifting is, and for me, I never competed myself. I've only been around the competition with my daughter Claire, but it is an individual in there, and they might be on a team or they might not, but they're simply competing against themselves. It's a thing to see just how much you can pick up. Where the technical side of it is, like in all sports, you have a technical side. The technical side is going through the correct procedure or correct motion as far as moving said weight. And you have 3 lifts. You have your first lift of the meet would be your squats. Then you would move to bench press, and then you move to deadlift. All three lifts are technical in themselves, and that's why they're judged. It's not just about getting up under the bar and literally seeing what you can push up, but it's doing it in the right manner to where you don't injure yourself, and it's a true technique to lifting. You can take an individual that is in the gym right now, and this is any age, and you can, if they've been around the gym of any amount of time, and you know what I'm saying, technique
matters.
Will make you stronger.
Yeah, strength is a
Poor
skill.
technique will get you hurt. And that's the thing. It is a technical lift. It's not just going out there pushing some weight around. It's more than that.
It's more than grit and glory, although that is part of it to it.
Right.
And I think that's where it can get you. It's probably got Claire too, is when you go and you pull and you go, oh, I can work at this and understand how I should hold the bar or set up my setup or put my, and then get better at it quicker. Those beginner gains are really contagious.
And the confidence building that it leads to, especially for young girls with our society and social media, they don't always feel like they fit that cookie cutter, idea of what a girl should be. And so when you go in there and your arms are, able to lift this weight, that's a whole lot of
Not to
confidence
mention
there.
just the health benefits from it, too.
Absolutely.
Long term as well. All right, stick with us. We got more with William and Carri Myers with the Load the Bar Foundation, Mississippi app, and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. But don't forget about watching us when you're on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. We're continuing our conversation with William and Carri Myers. They're the founders of the Load the Bar Foundation, and they're gearing up for their third annual Raising the Bar meet. They're trying to inspire younger generations, yes, of powerlifting lifters. But Carri, you were saying, man, y'all just got back from another meet, and it's got people all the way up to their 50s and 60s and older. So it's not, yes, it's about inspiring a young generation, especially after your daughter Claire and y'all's scholarships. But also anybody could start this at any age with the right coaching and helping.
And there's also other organizations like the American Powerlifting Association, the United States Powerlifting Association, that they can continue outside of the school arena, and they can, Claire lifted for the APA as well as the high school. And, there's other places that you, even after college, you can continue to compete.
And I mentioned the young man that was making waves, and I found it over at supertalk.fm. It was Austin Perkins out of Clinton, and I want to say this was a couple of years back, 2023. This was in September of 23, but he lifted a total of 851 kilos, which is 1,876 pounds is his total, that is absolutely insane. And here's the kicker. He weighed 165 pounds or at that time. So that's a Clinton powerlifter who is absolutely making waves sort of in that way. So we definitely have some strong Mississippians. But I want to talk about Raising the Bar, because this is the meet that you guys use, one, to bring more opportunities for those powerlifters in Mississippi to have a way to compete. But two, everything goes back into the Load the Bar Foundation, which, again, is giving scholarships to young women, I think is great, who want to continue this on in their higher education. So tell us about the third annual. When's it happening?
So August the 17th at Family Fitness in Philadelphia. That was Claire's home gym, and we've continued working out there, and so we always hold it there. And we have concessions, we have T-shirt sales, all of those things, as well as watching the meet.
I have to say, you have your T-shirt on, but you also gave me one. So if they're looking at SuperTalk TV, it's absolutely a great logo this year. I think every girl who enjoys lifting weights should have one of these. Act like a lady, lift like a beast. Yeah.
We did that for our family the second year Claire went to state. We made some up just for her, and so I thought it would be a good idea just to have it reprinted and, let everybody wear some.
Well, I love it. Okay, William, explain how the meet works. You may have someone listening that maybe just wants to come watch and support, buy a T-shirt or all the things, or maybe they do have a student who is, a football player or something that knows these movements but have never done one. Is this a great introductory powerlifting meet?
This is absolutely, and we've tried to make sure we incorporate this when we're advertising about the meet, that this is the one meet that if you are new to powerlifting, or you're in the gym and you said, I'd like to try that, this is the meet that you want to try, because it is judged, and you do have to wear the correct outfit, which is a singlet, but it's done off commands. It's not what you would call a sanctioned meet by like an organization. It is judged by organization rules, but it's not to where you're actually competing for points to move up in a standing. So this is a perfect opportunity at whatever age you are, if you want to come out and try it. And like we were talking about, we was at a meet this last weekend for the USPA here in Richland, and there was a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old, two little girls that were competing. Now they didn't lift a lot of weight, but it's the mindset that they got in there, and they were trying something new, and they enjoyed it. And one of the little girls, her birthday is actually on the 17th. They're having a party for her, and she told her dad come and talk to us. He's like, she's really rather go to your meet than she had go to her birthday party. I was like, man,
there's a future there. She's got plenty of time.
So, I mean, this is the meet that you want to come to. As far as the events, like I said, it'll start out with your squat will be your first, and it's performed. You'll unrack the weight. You'll step back, the judge will tell you to squat. Once you squat down to as low as you can go, you can come back up, then he'll tell you to rack the weight. That is technically the points in which you lift. You have to go through that 3 times, and as you progress, if you make your first lift or you get all green lights, then you can up your weight. If you don't get green lights, then you have to stay at that weight. And you're just trying to lift as much as you can. And this is where, regardless of whether you're there with a group of people or you're there individually, it's still you against the weight. It's not. It's as much as you can do, and that's where powerlifting is unlike any sports I've been associated with. Most sports I was associated with in high school for myself was team sports,
which have their place,
yeah.
But there's something about an individual.
Everybody, but this here is individual. You're against your age group and of course your weight class, but everybody in your age group and weight class is pulling for you to do the absolute best you can do. And you can't, I just don't think you can find that in every sport out there now.
We've all seen the viral videos, particularly whenever the high school state meet, powerlifting meet goes around. It's sometime, I guess, when? Like, is it fall? It's like spring, maybe?
Yes.
And you just hear the crowd go wild whenever a student's able to complete like a lift that it just amazes sort of everybody because they know what went into the effort that went into doing it.
And I will say this about the powerlifting family, is it is a family. Everybody there is cheering everybody on, whether you're in the same category as me or the same age group. Everybody is cheering for everybody, and it's a very encouraging atmosphere.
Now, Carri, I know you guys are looking obviously for more lifters. You can take as many lifters. You mentioned age groups and weight classes. Where can people find those?
So if they go on to Facebook, just search Load the Bar Foundation and message us, and we can get you a registration form. And the categories, the weight categories, they're different ones, and they'll all be on the registration form.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's new. I think it's total. It's like for males, it's like 15 different categories, and for females, it's like 15 different categories, and that category goes from age, and at certain ages you consider a master or junior or senior, and it goes by that. But the biggest competition is within your weight class, and that's broken down usually into like a 20-pound increments, and then you get up to like, I think it's the 240 or 250 class in the men, and it goes 250 and above. So at that point, you're in a big class because there's some big guys out there.
And they can pull some good weight as well.
Yes, they can.
You're also looking for, if anyone feels led, for sponsorships, things to make this go round. This does go back into a nonprofit, the Load the Bar Foundation, that would go back and, again, help for scholarships for young women.
So we have missed the deadline to get your logo on the shirt, but they could still sponsor. And I still have a few days left for the banners and stuff to be printed out, so the logos could go on there. But, we're always taking donations. You can go to any Citizens Bank of Philadelphia. They have one in Flowood and everywhere, and make any donation there.
In that way. I know it's been 3 years for you guys, but, I mean, look how far it's come with Load the Bar. Do y'all feel, I mean, the sport is growing, and so to continue to be able to give scholarships and watch these young ladies.
Well, God has just blessed Load the Bar. He has made opportunities for us to do the work, and, He's brought people out to lift. He's brought people in for sponsors. He always makes sure we have everything we need to do these events, and then people to give it to.
Yeah. Oh, so August the 17th, what time do we need to be there for the weigh-in?
All right, need to be there by 7 o'clock. We'll do weigh-ins up till 9. At 9 o'clock, the meet will start. But I'll be there at 7 o'clock on that Saturday morning to start doing weigh-ins for people that are coming in that day. We're also doing weigh-ins on Friday night from 6 to 8 the night before. A lot of people like to cut weight to get into their weight class, and they'll not eat, and so they'll come in early on Friday afternoons and weigh in. That way they can go chomp down so they can have energy for the next day. So, we'll be doing that Friday night from 6 to 8, and then from 7 to 9 on Saturday.
And even if you don't compete, coming out to watch, it's something you should see, and that is, where's it at?
Family Fitness in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
And find you guys on Facebook at?
Load the Bar Foundation.
And can they also buy a T-shirt there?
At the meet, yes.
Okay. All righty. Well, good luck to you guys. Not congratulations, but congratulations to whoever wins. So I'd love to know who that is for sure. But you guys stick with us. It's Friday, so we got Tanya with movies.